Hello, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is Jamila Daniel Robo from DIY Digital Trainings. I'm happy this is happening. After all the plannings and all, it is happening. Yeah, I'm excited today. Yeah, maybe I should tell you a little about DIY Digital Trainings before we go ahead and I unravel my co-host today. I'm so excited. I hope you are too. Okay, DIY Digital Trainings is just a platform, okay, that creates a conducive environment for you to develop yourself and to grow. Now, about what we are doing today, part of what we believe in DIY is for growth to happen, you have to do it yourself. Thus, the acronym DIY, do it yourself. Nobody develops you, you have to develop yourself. You have to put in the effort, go for it, and do it. Now, today we are going to be talking about individual responsibility in self-development. With me, I have someone so special to me, someone who I've admired over time, even though we just met shortly. But I tell you, um, he's so powerful and I admire his work greatly. Now, before I unravel who my co-host is, I would like to admonish you to please stay with us. Okay? I believe that at the end of this time you have with us, you will really testify that it was worth it. But you have to stay with us. Okay, stay with us. Don't leave for a second. Maybe by the end you agree with me, yes, that this advice I gave you was worth it, right? Because this person with me, he's a powerful speaker. He has got the experience on what he's about to talk about. Okay? And then one more thing. If you're watching us on YouTube, please click on the subscribe button because more is coming. Okay? So without further much talk, I would like to, yes, you can see him waving.
Good
This is
morning.
Olakami Amu Onidundu. Okay, his
Good.
profile is big, but I'll try to cut it short. He is the managing consultant and CEO of OMP Consult Limited. He is FCIPM. I don't know what that means. FSM, FIMS, MSHRM, MNITAD, CMC, MNIM, RPA. Let me just tell you the truth. This is not everything he is. This is just the little I can spare time because we don't have much time to introduce him with. He's a doctor in business management and more. I believe you agree with me by the end of it that it is a worthwhile time with Olakami Amu Onidundu. You're welcome, sir.
Oh, wow. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Good morning.
morning. Happy to have you here.
Are you all with me? Is everyone with me here? Good morning.
Morning.
All right. Okay, please. I will join you now. Come on. All right. Let me say that it's great to be here, and I appreciate so much everyone that is on call this morning. Over here is a little bit raining and all that. Again, my name is Olakomi Amoni Tundu. I want to say thank you to Jamila Daniel Rabo, for doing a great work, selfless work, even at giving back to the society via the DIY digital training platform. Please, if you have not subscribed, I will implore you to please subscribe both to the YouTube channel and also even to this Facebook channel. It's been great since started, during this month of May. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. So, as Jamila introduced me with all titles here on. All right, some of those titles just tell you that I am a fellow of certain institute, and that for instance, FCIPM means a fellow of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. FSM means a fellow of the Strategic Management Institute of Nigeria. I'm a member of the Society of HR Management in USA. I am a member of the Institute of Directors in Nigeria, even with affiliates in UK. I am a member of the Nigerian Institute of Training and Development here in Nigeria. I am a chartered management consultant, and that's CMC, and also I am a registered practitioner of advertising in Nigeria. So that's RPA. So that's just the short form for all those titles and all that. I think those are the ones you need to know here as related to this training. So maybe let me just say this. Please let me say this, even that I would first of all want to take you through an outline of what we'll be doing, because you see, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour will not even be suffice enough even to do good justice to this topic. The topic is deep, it's broad, it's extensive. Individual responsibility in self-development. It's deep. So the outline I will use is just simple. I will read out the outline so that at least you will know what to expect. And if I don't happen to finish through it, at least you can fill in the gaps and all that. And maybe at another time I can do other videos on this. So my approach, first of all, will be what I call eclectic. It will be taking a bit from several areas. It's a 360-degree approach to handling this topic. And why? Because I have several backgrounds, as I've said, but I will only put together, for your benefit, some, insight from my background to address this topic. I'm also a reverend gentleman, so you can understand that. Look, I will speak from that frame of reference also. Apart from the fact that even I am a personal psychologist, I have a background also in sociology. I have a lot of over 3 decades background also in human resource. So I will bring in all of this to address even this topic. Okay, and let me say this, that I will also give you my definition of responsibility. What is the difference between growth and development? Because we are talking about individual responsibility in self-development. I want you to be able to distinguish between growth and development, and we'll look at that. I will also speak to the issue of personal responsibility for self-development as being God ordained, has been ordained by the Creator for you, ab initio, when man was created. Okay, and we'll look at that. And then we'll look at also some associated concepts and disciplines, even with reference to responsibility in self-development. We'll look at that. Then I will, if time permits, I will speak about some sovereign laws or principles for taking personal responsibility for self-development, and I'll give you a recap. Okay, then we'll go into question and answer, and we'll close. So sit tight, please buckle your seat belts. We are on an altitude of about 40,000 feet above sea level. We are going to, a great destination. So please go with me. All right. Now, the first thing is this. What is responsibility? That's where we start from. What is responsibility? I will give you my own definition. You might find several definitions even from dictionary. Okay. I will say responsibility is the state or fact. I say state or fact of having a sense of duty to deal with something or to take control over yourself in terms of your goals, in terms of the plans of your goals, your personal discipline, and the execution of the goals. Again, responsibility is a state or a fact of having a sense of duty in dealing with something or dealing with yourself, so that you will take control with a view that your goals, the plans of your goals and the execution becomes your own duty. You are not passing it on to other people. This is very important. Sometimes I will say that responsibilities are given by others, just like all of us, who are working maybe in paid employment, maybe even as professionals, you are given what we call job description. We call it that in HR. Find that in job description, you are given your scope of duty and responsibilities. That's given by others. All right. And sometimes also you will know that even the Creator ab initio gave man a responsibility. But if man must develop, he must take this responsibility and run with it. And so responsibility can be given and can also be something you initiate yourself. But we are looking at the second aspect of initiating responsibility yourself, even as something that we will speak to in terms of personal development. Because personal development even is more true to you taking responsibility for self-developing yourself. Okay? You must seek out responsibility for personal development. This is very important. And that's why, the good book said somewhere in Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatsoever your hand find to do it with all your might, with everything you've got. This is very important. Do whatever you find to do with all your might, because these are the inputs into development and into fulfilling your life goals. So we'll look at several other things. And so I said I will also speak about the difference between growth and development. Since we are not talking about individual responsibility in self-growth, I will say here that they look similar, but they're different. Growth, in most cases, has to do with that which comes naturally. You hardly do anything to grow. Growth indeed is one of the characteristics of every living thing. Once you're a living thing, you will grow. So you need not do anything essentially. Whether you are growing higher, you are growing faster, you are growing deeper, growth is natural. Okay. However, development is a bit different. Development, is like determining the destination of your growth. You don't just want to grow wild. Development and growth can be well understood when you look at the analogy of a bush and a garden. The bush naturally grows. The garden is developed even to take particular shape. There is a deliberate and a conscious intervention of man to turn a bush into a garden. The bush will naturally grow, but may not be in the direction that you want unless you intervene. So when you don't intervene in your life, you might grow widely and not towards a targeted growth goal. And that's where development is very important. And so we know that ab initio, from the definition of development itself, you must understand that it is towards a targeted goal. And that's why I talked about the issue of goal, the issue of planning, and the issue of deliberate even execution, even to achieve development. So don't forget this. I was looking at good book, Genesis 2 verse 5 somewhere. It says, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was no man to till the ground. So why did God not allow rain, increase, expansion upon the seeds of the herbs already upon the earth before man came? It was because there was no man to manage, to direct the trajectory of the growth, which is development. So I here therefore say that the blessing of God for development is in direction to which man puts his effort, attention, and dynamic inputs. I repeat, I've told you I would speak from an eclectic point of view. I will take several angles to drive home this topic of individual responsibility for self-development. So you will understand, from this book of wisdom, okay, we find that the blessing of God for development is in direction to which man puts his effort, put his attention, and puts his dynamic input. There was no rain on earth until man came. So because man came on the scene and he could give deliberate, intentional direction, rain began to fall. That is increase upon even the natural growth in the direction that God wanted. The second thing you must understand from this wise nugget of that scripture is that God blesses you only to the extent to which you have developed your capacity for management. I repeat, the Almighty blesses you only to the extent to which you have developed your capacity for management. He will not give you what you cannot manage. He is so much an astute even entrepreneur that he will only pass on to you. Remember the parable of the talents. He gave them according to their several abilities. This is very important. The third nugget you must understand here from that scripture, that I read earlier, is without management, growth is limited. I repeat, without management, which is the deliberate act of development, growth is limited. And so development itself becomes a pipe dream. You might desire development, but if you are not even cultured, develop the ability, the competence of management, you will find out that it's only a pipe dream. You won't be able to, eat target, eat the bullseye and grow towards the direction you intend. This is very important. So it's been established, therefore, that personal development is God ordained. All right. In that book of wisdom, Genesis 2 verse 15, you will see that God essentially designed man, created man to keep and to tend even that area of the garden, and therefore to replicate what he has done in that garden to other bushes on the globe, so that every part of the earth will become a garden, will become even that luxurious place where man can thrive. However, the story we all knew, man failed in doing that in the garden, so the replication, was difficult, and it took a lot of time before there was an intervention. So to keep means to sustain growth. The Almighty created man to sustain growth, not just even to make things to grow. Because growth may come naturally, but sustaining it is tending it. This is where developing it. Sustaining it in a particular direction. And to tend it means you are determining the direction of this global development of your life. So you are created to keep, that is, sustain the growth, and to tend it, that is, develop it, direct the development of your life. So I therefore say that, the bliss of Eden, we all believe in, all the major religions that God created man in Eden. Eden is a garden, not a bush. Man was created in an environment that is organized, that has directed development. That is where man can really manifest the fullness of potential on his inside. So without a focus on development, you will not be able to, utilize and maximize all the potential even that the Almighty has put on your inside. That's what we are saying here. The bliss of Eden is, that is a beautiful, peaceful, and bright future for your life, can only be sustained in an orderly environment called a garden, not a bush. And so you must put pen to paper. Look at your life. Is it a bush or a garden? Is a bush, if you leave it even on a roller coaster, even to develop into whatever, whatever will come. But it's a garden if you are deliberate in planning, you are deliberate even in understanding your strength, your weaknesses, the opportunities this holds, and the threats that they bring. And therefore, minimizing your threats and maximizing the opportunities using your strength. This is how to do it. So you must look at your life as a business enterprise. You must take responsibility, deliberate, see yourself as someone who has a duty, not only to yourself, but to the Almighty. Someone says God's gift to you is your life, but your gift back to God is what you do with your life. This is very important. Your gift back to God is what you do with the gift He gave you, which is your life. Please don't forget this. And maybe for time, because I've said this thing is so curious, I'll just talk about some associated disciplines to responsibility in self-development. There are several associated disciplines. The first discipline is what we call accountability. Accountability. All right. This is when the praise or the blame for whoever you become, it is solely yours. No matter your background, whether you are from a poor background, your parents even were illiterate, they didn't understand anything, and you thought they gave you a disadvantaged background. However, for self-responsibility in for individual responsibility in self-development, you must understand this. You must change your mindset. What did I say? Change your mindset. The mindset should be that of accountability, that I am responsible for whoever I become from now on. If you don't know this before, you are forgiven. But from now on, you must understand your background has nothing. The disadvantage of your past has nothing to do with who you become in the future. You are not defined by your history. You are defined by what you do with your history. I repeat it. You are not defined by your history. You are defined by what you do with your history. Your history can become a raw material with which you put in a crucible and you bring out the beauty. Bible. The second concept is the concept of authority. Don't forget, the first is accountability. That is, whether the praise or the blame, whether the good or the bad that comes from your life, you are solely responsible for them. That's accountability. So accountability is closely linked to responsibility. The second thing is authority. And let me say that the extent of authority or dominion or opportunities and influence that you will be given in life is related to the responsibility you take. And that is why you find in an organization, the MD is paid much more than the messenger. They both start with MM, but the managing director is paid more than the messenger. Why? The managing director is saddled with more responsibility than the messenger. And so he will be given more authority, you will give him more influence, more dominion, and more pay. The extent of responsibility you take about your life is the extent of dominion, of influence, of power, and of recompense that the Almighty will give to you. It's a spiritual principle. The third thing is that you must understand that on the part of individual responsibility towards self-development, you are a free moral agent. God himself will not determine what will happen in your life, about your life, if you don't agree with it. You want to play like a co-partner in determining your life. Indeed, he has, on his own part, it's like a quadratic equation where you have the constant factor and where you have factors that we call even the factors that changes. Okay, God's part is a constant factor, but the part that changes based on your input will determine the eventual solution of the quadratic equation of your life. So what your input into what is God's constant factor will determine the equation of your life. Don't forget that. You are a free moral agent to determine that. Then there are several principles. No, the fourth thing you must understand in terms of associated concepts is there are concepts called principles. Principles are essentially sovereign laws that determine, what is possible even with the outcome of your life. These sovereign laws are created by the Almighty. The laws can be spiritual, the laws can be natural, the laws can be social. You must understand that everything operates by principles in life. There are spiritual principles, there are natural principles. Some of the natural principles are the laws of gravitational force, the laws, of buoyancy and all that. Everything operates by laws. There is a law in relationship. If you don't understand those laws, even you will be frustrated fast in life. You must take responsibility to understand the laws, even that undergirds even that area of life if you want to do well. So this is very, very important. All right. So I've talked about difference between growth and development. I've talked about personal responsibility for self-development as being God ordained. Then let me now quickly speak to some issues of associated concepts and disciplines. There are some concepts and disciplines associated with responsibility in self-development. One is your mindset. I'm repeating it. Your mindset and thought. As a man thinketh, so he is. Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinks, so he is. Your mindset is your programming software, is your blueprint. Your life is a sum total of your consistent and persistent thoughts. You cannot change your outcome by just angst and jumping up and all that. You can only change your outcome by changing your mindset, the input, what you put in your mind. The belief system of a lot of people is what is holding them down. But you can do that. You can change that. How can you change your mindset? Don't forget, I said your mindset is like the programming software. So how do you change the program? Program is all about information. Who are the source of information that you consume? What media are you consuming? What books are you consuming? Are they aligned with the goal for your life? Don't forget, if you are going towards a particular goal, there are particular routes that will take you there. There are particular input that will take you there. Consume, that's how to live strategically. That's how to take individual responsibility strategically for your self-development. The path to which you want to develop your life, you must consume inputs that lead towards that path. This is very important. So who is or are your role models? Who do you listen to? Who are your counselors? Who are your friends? Someone said, if you show me 4 to 5 closest associates of yours, and I understand even their mindset, I can almost predict who you will become in the next 5 years. Because your associates, their mindset, because it has a way of influencing, will soon lead you to where even they are. This is very important. So this is one of the very much important concept, the mindset. The mindset. The mindset sets even your direction in life and limits you or enables you. The second is, the concept of meditations. You must understand that as you meditate on the inputs, on the information that is fed into your mind, it becomes life and it manifests. Okay? You are a magnet. As other you draw to yourself other people, even that are like you. So as you meditate, those thoughts become yours, and you'll begin to draw like-minded people towards yourself. There's also the law of desire, or the principle of desire. Desire. Miles Monroe said that the proof of desire is in pursuit. In individual responsibility, if you say you desire something and you are not pursuing it, there's no passion after it, I would say it's a lie. So the proof of desire is in pursuit. There's also the law of preparation. Let me say that the discipline of goal setting, detailed planning, acquiring the skill, and building the character is to prepare you for self-development of where you want to end up. So you must understand, you must prepare. Indeed, in anything in life, we say preparation, determines to a large quantum even the outcome of life. So this is very important. Please don't forget this. After preparation, I've talked a bit about the law of attraction, even that you are a living magnet, and your thoughts, your attitudes, and your emotions determine what you attract or you repel in life. So you must be careful the kind of thoughts you entertain, the kind of people you entertain, come to your space. Okay. You must be careful about that. Then there's a law of action. I've said you must, nothing moves until it is moved. You must understand this. Newton's first law says a body at rest remains at rest until acted upon by a force. You must be the one even that brings the external force of determined individual responsibility to move your life forward. Nothing moves until it is moved. Newton's first law. A body at rest remains at rest until acted upon by an external force. The force is the force of responsibility. If you are just live your life to the vagaries of nature, you will remain a bush, not a garden. A garden must be deliberately, intentionally cultivated to bring out the pattern that you desire. There is also the law of persistence. persistence. Don't give up. There's a law of harvest also. You must understand that what you sow, you reap. It's natural. So that's why I can almost predict in the next 5 years you will become based on what you're planting now. There's also the law of vision. You must have a dream. Don't let your dream die because you are growing older. Okay? This dream is what brings value to mankind and glory to God. It's not just mere ambition. What we are, what Jamila is doing on the DIY digital platform is a dream to impact lives, to make lives better, thereby bringing glory to the Almighty, in whose image we are all in. So this is very important. Where there is no vision or a picture of the future, the people cast off restraints. That is, they live anyhow, and they waste valuable life resources. But happy is the man who keeps this law of vision, guiding his life by setting clear goals. There is also the law of cooperation. You must understand that you cannot achieve anything in life only by yourself. So this is where you must balance who you move with the law of cooperation. The law of association with law of cooperation. You must be careful about who you associate with. But you cannot achieve your life vision without associating. So you must associate with the right people. It gives synergy, all right? When you associate with right people. Everyone does not have a 2020 vision. Other people will help you to see your blind spot and help you even to achieve more when you choose the right people. There is also several other laws. I can keep quoting. Let me just reel through them so I can just, there's a lot of cooperation, there's a lot of decision, there's a lot of responsibility itself. Whether you succeed or not is your fault. You must understand that. I should do something about what I can do something about, and then leave what I cannot do anything about to God. But it is having done all that you are told to stand. If you have not done all, you cannot stand. Don't remain standing until you have done all. This is very important. There's the law of extra mile. If you do more than you are presently paid for, you will soon be paid for more than you are presently doing. If you do more than you are presently paid for, you will soon be paid for more than what you are presently doing. Leave the when and the where of the payment to the Almighty. Your present place of work may not pay you that, but people will soon notice the value you are reeling out, and they will attract to you, and they will bring you even the recompense. There's a law of creativity. You must be creative. There's a law of flexibility. There are several laws. There's a law of habits. We form our habits, but later in life, our habits form who we become. So be careful what habit you form. So as you listen to this DIY digital training, Zooms, platform, and outreaches, it does something to begin to change your mindset, so that your mindset begin to form creative, enterprising habits that will help you deliver your life goal. There's a law of suggestion. There's a law of prayer, because we know that essentially human being is not only body, we are not only soul, we are also spiritual. So there's a lot of prayer where we allow even the divine supernatural being, God, even to influence things and enable us. For we know that the race is not only to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither bread to even to those who are wise, but time and chance happens to them all. But who gives the time and chance, the opportunities, is God. So we're saying as you pray, God will throw in your path opportunities. For we know that success is a combination of both preparation and opportunity. So success in life, in self-development, is hinged on two things. One, preparation. Two, opportunity. So, preparation is man's part. Opportunity is God's part. But if you don't prepare and the opportunity comes, the opportunity will be wasted. So you prepare and wait. Time and chance will bring the opportunity in due time. This is very important. This is very, very important. So don't forget this. Let me just quickly, drive home a recap, and because of time, I'll just drive a recap. Now, number one recap in terms of essentials for self-development is this. You must take individual responsibility. This is key component of self-development. Take ownership and take accountability. Two, you must have a growth mindset. The mindset I've talked about is growth mindset. Believing that you can become better no matter what stage you are in life. That stage is not the final. You can become better, you can improve. The condition of your life is not at the best level. You can still be better. And this has to do with humility, no matter what level you are in. Be transparent, be authentic, knowing that you are not still your best version of life. You can be better. I'm not the best version of my life. I can be better. Number 3 recap I will give you is goal setting. This is one of the most important aspects of individual responsibility, with regards even to self-development. It might be long-term, it might be short-term goal, it might be medium-term goal, but you must set goal. What happens, someone said goal setting is similar to a ship leaving the harbor from maybe Liverpool. And if the ship, the captain, just say, okay, just drive the ship, does not set the coordinates to lock on a particular trajectory of bearing, longitude and latitude, the ship will move, yes, but in most cases will land on an island or be shipwrecked because that's gone through paths that are not charted. But by goal setting, what you do is it helps you to have a predetermined direction. No matter the waves, because you have locked on the bearing, you can come back to that bearing, and in most cases, 99%, all things being equal, you will arrive at your destination. So goal setting helps you to arrive at your destination. Without setting goals, you cannot score goals, therefore. And one other thing you must understand, is, in this recap, is you must be open to feedback. Indeed, it is said that feedback is the food of champion. This is where the law of association takes place. By associating with others, you listen. You are not all about yourself. Listen so that you will have feedback from them concerning how you are doing, because you are not the best mirror for your life. This is very, very important. So feedback is an important aspect of individual responsibility in self-development. You must seek feedback. Don't wait for feedback. I said great leaders seek feedback. They don't wait for feedback. Please don't forget this. It is important to take action when you receive this feedback and make changes. Else, people who are giving you feedback will soon be tired and say, look, he doesn't listen. Okay. Another thing that I will give in this recap is you must be persistent and you must be resilient. Two different things. Persistent means, don't give up. Do it again and again. Resilience means that you are not tired out, regardless of your position. You are seeking new and different ways of achieving your goal. New and different ways. This is very, very, very important. So at this point in time, because of, I want us to first of all have some interaction, a question and answer. I will want to, to call in our great host, Jamila, Daniel Rabu. Please, yes, please. So you may want to ask 1 or 2 questions and also chip in 1 or 2 things here. Thank you very much, Jamila.
Beautiful, sir. I feel like clapping. This is beautiful. I'm sure those who agreed to stay will testify that I told them. Great work, sir.
Thank you.
I have always known that there are principles and laws, but today I've learned that there are many laws, even those that I've never thought are laws. Come think of it, are really laws. Laws of habit, creativity, and all of this is amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Something also caught my attention. The way you see your life determines what attention you give to it. If you see it as a bush, you will not give attention to bush.
Yes.
But if you see it as a garden, oh man, this is beautiful, sir. I'm so grateful for this. We all are. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, I've known you for a short while, not too long, but I've known you to be someone who practices what he preaches. Yes, sir. So from what you've said, one might be tempted to think if you're on this growth journey, you will not have hitches on the way, problems on the way. Once you just determine, you are deliberate about growing, you create your goals and your plans, put everything in place, one will be tempted to think everything will just move smoothly. But being someone who has grown through the ranks, through the years, I want you to just tell us how you were able to overcome. I'm sure you must have experienced some hitches that would have ordinarily made you give up on developing yourself. Come on, with all the profile I read the other time, your titles and all, you have grown and you are still growing.
I'm still growing.
So, but yes, I trust you because I know you to be someone I call those kind of people the young at heart. Even though they've grown, they are matured and all, but they are still growing. And that's the way I see you. So, but how have you stayed? What kept you through the years to focus on this growth despite the challenges of life?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I call myself a kidoct. Kid plus dogs, kid and adult. That is, I am a kid at heart, but adult in the body. So I'm a kidoct. Okay, and what does that help me to do? I think like a child. I see nothing impossible. I dream wild. Don't forget, there's a law of vision. There's a law of dreaming. When you stop dreaming, you start dying. All right. When you stop dreaming, you start dying. You must understand that. No, I understand also that all I've told you as principles are laws. When challenges came, for instance, as far back as maybe the early 90s, I was a master's degree older at that time. And, I felt a strong impression looking at my life that I should move into a new sphere of life. And I left, but the strong impression that I felt spiritually did not pan out. It took quite a while. Okay, I had to go and do many a job, carrying load with master's degree, but I was still clear in my heart concerning where I was going. It was while doing that job, the many a job was at Procter and Gamble in their warehouse. I was carrying load. Then one of the top managers saw me carrying the load. Because don't forget, I said, do everything you do with all your mind, with all your heart, joyfully. I was doing it because I know, it's, success is a journey, not a destination. That's just the path I had to take. I didn't understand why God allowed me to pass through that path, but I understood it, retrospectively now. That manager came to me and said, look, sorry, it seems there's something different about you, the way you do, because I was also careful about my association there, and so he called me to his office and we discussed. And he had that look. I was even much more qualified than him, the head of the department. I had even better years of experience. So he said, look, I won't do that job on that loading bay anymore. I should come to the office. That was in the days when Microsoft Word was just being introduced. So he took me into the office, said, do I know anything about computer? And I've done, Institute of Data, Management and Processing, UK at that time also, even though it was a old MS. It was surprised. So immediately my life began to change. I got also opportunity to work on the first levels of Microsoft, a package that came out then and all that. Do you know that, look, I didn't spend more than 3 months there when I said, okay, I was leaving, but I have gotten exactly what God wanted me to get. The competence, the introduction, even to those software. It was that made me to be hired at the Institute of International, Tropical, of Agriculture in Ibadan. Okay, IITA. I was hired because of that competence that I gained in about 3 months of doing a load carrier. Because it was a load carrier. So, please, God will play his own part when you play your part. That's what I'm saying. You nothing to keep you down. I could have been bemoaning my situation. I could have been, I didn't. I did, and I can tell you several setbacks. Setbacks are for set up in life. God, you don't move to the next class without a test and examination. So when the texts come and you are now fretting and all that, you will stay at that level. You won't be promoted. There is no promotion in life without test, trial, without challenges. The challenges are meant to torpedo you to the next level. And these are some of the ways I apply these, laws, and it has helped me in life. And I've told you about law, several. Please go back to what we have said today, for those who are on air, and share it with other people and begin to see how can I apply these laws, apply them in life and it will help you. Thank you, Jamila.
Well, thank you so much for your privilege having you. These words are just great. They are words of wisdom.
You're welcome.
Talking about how you had to carry load and all, and our youth are there thinking and waiting for the big job. I think it's a lesson for all of us. We're grateful,
Yes.
sir. Thank you so much. We're honored.
You're welcome.
We look forward to having more of you. We'll plan towards that again. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
all the pains we went through just to make this a reality. Thank you so much. God bless
You're
you,
welcome.
sir. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Okay, so we've come to the end of our broadcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Cool. He's saying bye. Us. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. He's saying bye. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. We'll be closing the entire broadcast right now. I want you to just cross your fingers. More is coming. Okay. Like I said earlier on, if you're watching us on YouTube, please click on the subscribe button, click on like, and then watch out for more from us. And if you've not yet joined the DIY digital trainings, please do well too. Like I said, we are just an environment just for you to grow. We just want you to grow. So, like our speaker today said, you have work to do. I hope you're ready for that. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.